Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hello, Probacus. Hello, Pharma Flask. Ooh, your Tesla is on Monday. Very exciting. Okay, we are ready to dive into this. I'm very sore. I think that the potential for repetitive strain injury doing diamond painting is much higher than it is with cross stitch, interestingly enough. If you hear whining, it's because Shadow is pissed that Liam is outside without him, but Liam is currently bricklaying. He's finishing off one of the steps in our back garden. And Shadow's angry he can't be out there with him, despite the fact that it's 31 degrees outside. So, yeah, no problem, Probacus. I know, yeah, you said you're doing groceries. Again, it's all good. Stop by for a little bit, for a lot of it. I'm just happy you're here. Yeah, thank you. You too. Yes, thank you very much. I am going to try, what I'm thinking of doing is, one, I was working on this morning as well, and I'm trying to put a lot less pressure down on this. I also am going to move this closer to me, and I'm hoping that that helps. Maybe what I should do. So I think I need to rearrange the setup. Hi, Fanacat! Hello, hello. I don't know why I called you by your full name. I usually always call you Cat. I don't know why I decided to. I feel like I'm scolding you by saying your entire stream name. That's not what I meant, but you know what I meant. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna rearrange things a little bit because I think, yeah, it felt weird, right? As it came out of my mouth, it felt weird for me too. I was like, wait a second. But yeah, I hope you're doing okay. I've officially run. Hello, Pancake. Hello, Liquisen. Hello, hello, fellow tea drinker. Oh, that reminds me. I was told to drink, stay hydrated. I currently have a DIY bubble tea. Oh, Potato redeemed Shadow snack. Shadow's gonna be very happy about this. Let me go and grab the snacks. Yeah, do you want a treat? I think he's pissed at me now. No, Shadow's a dog. He's my 2-year-old lurcher puppy. Shadow, what's this? Do you want a treat? He's sulking right now. You guys can't see him. Where is he? He is on the sofa. Shadow. Where's Shadow? Do you want a biscuit? He's like, absolutely not, Mom. Maybe I should go get the good. Here, I'll be right back. Shadow's playing hard to get. Let me go get the good treats. The higher end treats. I think he's sulking. He's a hot dog. Yeah, are you sulking? Should I get the good? What are these? Nico, you want one? Ready? Come. He's so upset right now. Look! What's this? Ready? Here? Good boy. Yeah, good boy. Ready? Sit. You can do it. Ready, sit. He's like, what the heck, Mom? Good boy. No? Come here. He's like, I will lay down over here for you. Okay, we can see the tiniest. He's a lurcher. So we actually got him, when we got him, we were told he was a Springer door. So a Springer Spaniel Labrador puppy. And then he just kept getting taller and longer, and yeah, this is him. Here, should we show them the new one you can do? Ready? High five. Good boy. There you go. Was that nice? But yeah, the other day I was teaching him the difference between paw and high five, and so he high-fived me the other day, and I was like, ah! Yeah, good boy. Here, do you want the other treat I tried to give you earlier? So you get 2 for being performing dance monkey. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, they do have a mind of their own. They do have a mind of their own. They're like airline pilot pieces. Yeah, he's very good boy. He's very, again, very on guard boy because his bestest friend, Liam, is outside doing work without him and he's upset about it. Well, let's rearrange this. But yeah, he's 2.5. And, yeah, that's him. He is best boy confirmed. Aren't ya? Now he's on high alert. He's like, ho ho. Now I know. Oh, we need to stretch too. I did stretch a little bit beforehand, but like I said, it seems like diamond art is much more repetitive strain inducing than cross stitch for some reason. I also don't know too. It could be a multitude of things. It could be because I was like driving more than I have in the last little while. Because usually when I drive, my like shoulders end up in my ears. Not intentionally. I think I'm just like not used to doing it very often. But yeah, so I'm feeling a little stiff, which is annoying. But hopefully, I'm gonna rearrange the setup a little bit. And hopefully that will help with, yeah, right? The shoulder to ear move. Yeah, exactly. It's not intentional, but you just realize, like, why am I sore? And you're like, oh, you've been driving like this for the last, like, hour. Oh, you also squeeze the wheel? Oh, really? Yeah, thankfully I don't do that as much. Sometimes, maybe I do a little bit, because every once in a while I'll feel like my palms sweaty mom spaghetti, and I'll have to kind of, you know, like, just kind of open up my hands a bit to be like, okay, calm down. So yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. Okay, so I'm gonna move the project over here. Oh, I've also run out of little bags. Remember how there was only like 10 bags for this project? So I did empty out this little container and I've started dumping things in here. I've not considered how I'm gonna scoop them out to put them back into the tray to use when I need them, but at least we have another storage option for now. But yeah, so we're gonna put those here. I have my working trays that are gonna go along here, and then I can put the corresponding, there we go. We sort of kind of maybe have a system. Let's see. I was working on this more again this morning because I've truly drank the Kool-Aid and been fully invested in this. Also, I'm aware that it also takes up a lot of space, so I'm keen to try to finish it so that I'm not taking up the dining room table with tons of little plastic dots for a long period of time, but needs must. If it happens, it happens. But yeah. Oh, I hope everyone is well. I am hot and bothered, but it's okay. I've had the air conditioner unit on for most of the afternoon, trying to cool the place down as much as possible. Now we got a fan going, so hopefully I don't progressively get more and more beet red. Yeah. Oh, thank you! Yeah, it is stupid hot today, and it's gonna get even hotter tomorrow, and I'm going to a child's first birthday party, and it's meant to be like 33 degrees, and I am concerned about what I'm gonna wear. But yeah, my mother-in-law picked this up for me at like the pound shop, which in the UK means like the dollar store, but it's not a dollar. It's like, you know when you go to like a dollar store, like a Dollarama or something like that, and it's always like not a dollar anymore because of inflation? I'm like, sure. You have two fans already saying, no, I guess if it's blowing hot air around, it doesn't work, eh? What are those things? I think people say, like, if you get a tray of, like, ice cubed water and, like, stick it in front of the fan, it can, like, help kind of circulate the cooler air. But I don't know, man. We just need to try our best. I'm sitting on Shadow's cooling mat again. And so that is helping at least. But yeah, even last night, like, it took so long for it to cool down. It was not okay. I am not okay. But yeah. It was okay. So are you ready? I work at an ice machine company. Haha. That's incredible, actually. I didn't realize it was. Is it actually? That's actually amazing. I feel like you want that, especially in the southern states. I feel like that's an excellent place to work for in terms of coolness. I used to put a soaked towel and cold water on my shoulders. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it only works with towel does. That's similar to the way that Shadow has like a cooling bandana. I don't know if you saw like the blue thing around his neck, but it's a bandana that has like fancy cool tech, I guess. So you wet it and then it's meant to stay cooler longer, but obviously the water does eventually evaporate. So then you have to rehydrate it throughout the day. So yeah. But that might work. If you stick like an ice cold towel like on your head while you're working, maybe that might help. Pharma flask, maybe. But yeah, so last night it's been good because we've been getting use out of our patio down by our garage. We've been sitting outside to eat dinner because we're like, it's way so. Yeah, they made it. Yeah, they have a bunch of cooling stuff. So they have like, for instance, this is like a mat that has almost like a gel-like filling in it. So it kind of feels like an ice pack, but you don't have to stick it in the freezer. It just like kind of naturally, the gel keeps it cool. Obviously, if you're like, you got to get up and like let it kind of recalibrate itself and whatever. But Shadow hates it. Shadow doesn't like the feeling of it, so he doesn't lay down on it. So Liam was like, oh, we should take it back. And then I sat on it, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this. Oh, you sending icy hearts our way. Thank you, Galloway. Thank you for cooling us down. Yeah, and so then they also do, like, almost like vests, like harnesses for dogs, similar tech to the bandana, but Shadow like doesn't really have a tolerance for that kind of stuff, so we thought the bandana is sort of the best way forward for him. But yeah, no, I think especially now, like I think we need more investing in cool tech, like cool, and I don't mean cool as in like exciting tech, I mean like physically temperature cooling technology. That seems like a necessary thing we need to be investing in right now. Because it's only going to get worse, my dudes. But yeah, so, oh, it was so annoying. So, you know how Liam and I are a little bit PO'd, a little bit upset, annoyed. So you remember how we got back from my weekend away to a letter basically from our council being like, the rubbish collectors deem the road that they, like the private road they collect our rubbish down, which is an alleyway, is actually a health and safety issue. So they're no longer going to be collecting down there. So you need to await further instructions. They basically were like, they're not collecting down your road anymore. We'll do a collection on Sunday and then like, that's it, await further instructions. And we got back on the Sunday. So we were like, what the fuck? Okay. Let's sit and wait. And so then I think it was the Tuesday before stream started. The council dropped off a letter explaining everything with a bag of like clear recycling bags. It's like, okay. So then the solution now is they're going to be collecting at the front of the house. But obviously I've told you guys the front of the house has like our front garden, a walkway, and then it's the highway. So there isn't like a way for them to drive up there. But they basically are like, listen, you know, this is considered a health and safety issue. We'll now collect it from the front of the house. You now have to put your recycling in bags. Because obviously before we had the really big bins and then the like truck, you know, they would attach it to the truck and the truck would lift it up and dump it. Obviously, if they can't get the truck up there, they can't do that. So they're going to now be like, okay, you have to put it in bags. And then we're going to come by every week and take the bags. And then eventually we're going to be transitioning to bins, which I'm led to believe that we're basically going to be downsizing our collection because they can't lift as much. And so basically, I think what's happening is our amount is going to decrease, which is shitty because all the houses along here are like 3-bedroom, like family homes. I know people that have like 2 or 3 extra regular rubbish bins and they're going to be like, here is your 1 bin. But anyway, so within that letter, though, they were like, in case people aren't able to get or missed the Sunday deadline of extra trash collection, we will be doing an extra one Friday morning. And we said, okay, cool, Friday morning. And they said, in the letter, it was like, we're doing an extra collection Friday morning. All of your rubbish needs to be in bags for us to collect. If you want to and you're able to, you can bring your big bin down to either of the roads. So like Chester Road is, or like there's like a main road that we always tell people to park down. So like drop the bin off at the end of this road, which is like a 7-minute walk away from us. It's like literally like half a mile to get to like the main roads here, walking. And so we were kind of like, well, fuck that. We're not going to bring the bins all the way down there, but we're like, that's fine. We can put them in bags, put them at the front of the house because you said the alleyway is a health and safety issue. So we spent last night basically taking all of our plastic and cardboard recycling out of the bins to then re-put them in bags, to stick those bags back in the bins and then move them from our backyard to the front yard. And they were like, they're picking them up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, blah, 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 blah. Cool, whatever. We did that. I take Shadow for a walk this morning. Those fuckers are walking up and down the alleyway collecting bags and putting them in. So basically there's a main road, our alleyway, our houses, pavement, highway, right? So there is a main road and then you would drive up to get to the alleyway. So they have their rubbish vehicle on the main road and their people walking up into the alleyway and taking the leftover bags and bringing them down to put them in the bin. And so we're like, okay, what the fuck? Because that's a joke too. Oh, it was so dumb because Liam and I are sitting there putting these away and he's like, what do you want to bet that they're going to be taking it back? Like, are they're going to be collecting it from the back one more time? And I was like, well, that's dumb because they just told us that the back alleyway is a health and safety issue and they're going to no longer collect back there. So that just doesn't make any sense for them to be like, well, we're going to do one more collection before we get into our rotation. And it did not specify one more collection from the back of the property. And then it's like, yeah, exactly, right? And so you're like, what is it? Is it a health and safety risk or is it totally acceptable? Because if this is an option, because they're going to be doing the same thing to the front of the yard. They're going to be having to walk up the walkway because you can't get a vehicle down there with bags to collect the rubbish and bring it down to either point. If anything, it's actually more of a pain in the ass for them to do that than it is for them to do what they did today, which is walk up the alleyway and then down the side streets to the main road to stick it in the bin. So I'm like, which is it? Is it a health and safety issue or is it not? Because you're telling us one thing, making us do a complete reworkaround of our rubbish disposal system, and then being like, haha, JK, we're gonna do this one more time. So you're like, what does that mean? Like, I just one of those. So Liam sent a very angry letter this morning. He was already like planning. He like brought out all the points yesterday, but he was like, I'm still so pissed. I need to like wait to not be angry anymore and then send it. But yeah, after today, he was like, I fucking sent the letter. Like, I'm so annoyed. But yeah. And then to top it all off, which is so funny because Nungde was talking about this the other week. Of course, here in the UK, it's not the same way everywhere, but obviously because we're sort of like greater London area. You can tell I'm getting riled up because I cannot work and talk at the same time. I'm using my hands too much. This is what happens when I get really ragey. I can't multitask. But anyway, so in the UK, like where we are, we don't like when you, I don't know if you guys, like when I was in Canada, when we would mow our lawns and like do like lawn clippings and stuff like that, we just took it and like dumped it in a ditch like behind our house. You know what I mean? Like we had property that we could just kind of like extend and like do whatever. It didn't matter, right? That's not an issue here. Like that's not an option here. So when you mow your lawn, you can opt in for a garden waste recycling program. So they give you a big brown bin, and so anytime you mow your lawn, you can then slowly add it to this bin that they then are supposed to take every other week. But you have to opt in, pay money to do that. If you don't, the other option is load up your car with all of your grass clippings and yard trimmings and whatever bullshit and bring it to the recycling center. Drive to deposit your lawn clippings. Or, I guess, learn how to compost. But like when we were cutting down all the big old bushes and branches and stuff in our yard, I'm not going to take a log and attempt to compost it. How does that work? You can't compost a log. It's going to take a million years. But yeah, so because the only way that the council knows how to collect garden waste is through a big bin that they need a vehicle to attach it to lift it up and dump it, they're discontinuing that service in our area. So they did say we're going to get a full refund for the year because it's obviously a service you have to opt into, but now we have no way of getting rid of our lawn clippings. So you're like, okay, sure, like whatever. But yeah, so that is the update of the tomfoolery that has been occurring with our rubbish collection. So I said to Liam, because he was like, oh man, like if they don't pick it up, like this is some bullshit. And I was like, yeah, I guess we have to take it to the recycling center. Well, it's very uneven and it's very bumpy. So it's like basically, it's not paved. It's basically like a bumpy dirt road full of potholes. But it's like they've not given us any information as to how we can rectify that. Because apparently my in-laws live like across the highway on the other side, and they also have a back alleyway. And so what they did is, I guess they call them like unadopted roads. So basically there's really, see, that's even more bullshit, I guess, though, because they charge you for the service for collection, so it makes sense that they then charge you to drop it off too. You're like, okay, like fuck me, right? Like what are my options? But yeah, and then so yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I was saying. I was just enraged. But oh yeah, so yeah, the alleyway is basically like really bumpy and uneven and bullshit. And so my in-laws had a similar alleyway situation, but I guess the council had a pot of money that they could then give to these chunks of properties, and if they matched it and like donated money towards the cause, they could get that back road paved and maintained, or at least paved initially. So there were funds or whatever for unadopted roads. So an unadopted road is basically a road that the city council isn't responsible for, doesn't need to maintain, like isn't obligated to upkeep. Whereas like if there's potholes and shit on their roads, they have an obligation to fix them. Not with this alleyway because it's considered a private road. But even still, we kept hearing about this magical pot of money that if we all eventually donated to, we could maybe get the thing paved. But it turns out that that's probably not an option. But they didn't even give us like information of like, okay, what is it about this alleyway that's a health and safety hazard? Is it the potholes? Is it the, like, what is it? And then what can we do to fix that? You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, because there's easily 50 to 80 houses that are impacted by this. And so, like, I get not everybody, some of them are renters, like some of them like don't want to, you know what I mean? I'm sure not everybody has the option. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm under the impression that like each one of our houses owns like the part of it that's in front of our house. Do you know what I mean? So each of us own a little strip of it. But let's say Liam and I get our little strip of it paved. Everyone else still needs to drive up and down it to access their properties. So like it's not, I don't know, like it's one of those where it's like almost like an all or nothing. Like we all have to fix the problem or like none of us get the option, which is really dumb. But yeah, so we're not quite sure. So Liam sent a message basically being like, you need to tell us why. And also too, they gave us like 3 days to come up with a solution before they did. Like if they came to us like a month ago, they could have been like, listen, this is a problem. You have a month to sort it out or else we're going to make alternative arrangements. That could then at least give us as a street some time to be like, listen, it's in our best interests to put money towards paving the road, right? But then again, it's also understandable. Like literally, I've told you guys about this before, literally like the ULEZ, which is the ultra low emission zone, just expanded in London. So basically if you have a diesel car that's over a certain like year, like make or whatever, basically it's a way to greenify the city, even though it's really not doing a whole lot. And they keep cutting alternative travel infrastructure. But anyway, we digress. Basically, if your car is not ULEZ compliant, you have to basically pay the government, like the, I don't know, city, £12.50 a day, £12.50 a day just to turn on your vehicle and drive around in the ultra low emission zone. So a lot of people have either needed to either buy a new car, which is now they're out of pocket, like that's what we did. So we ended up having to buy a new car that was ULEZ compliant, or you don't buy a new car that's ULEZ compliant and you're paying $12.50 every time you drive it. So a lot of us are already out a couple thousand from the changes in our local community, and then the council goes around and is like, by the way, also this. So I don't think, even if the option was to be like, oh, you can pay towards getting the road paved, if like people are even in a position where they can financially contribute to that. So yeah, that's the update of the bullshit of the neighborhood right now. Oh wow, you have the best trash pickup. I'll go up the first and grab it. That's actually really nice. Yeah. That's the thing. So if there was a specific thing that they needed, like, you know what I mean? If they turned around and was like, this part of it is not good enough, then we could at least have some grounds to work with. But as of right now, it's like they've given us nothing. They just said, like, you know, rubbish collection agency says no, here's the option. But also, rubbish collection agency just did what you said was apparently a health and safety issue that they're not allowed to do anymore. Because we don't think it was the council that made this decision, because obviously they contract out. Basically, our rubbish collection is not owned and operated by the city council. They contract out companies to do the rubbish collection on behalf of the council. And so if the external, you know, company is like, this is not okay, they then will refuse to provide a service, and then the council has to scramble to be like, shit, well, we just can't not have rubbish collection for this chunk of our community. What do we do? So I think, unfortunately, the council are caught between a rock and a hard place, but also, like, they are not handling this very well. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And it doesn't help, like, we've already had so many issues. I think there's been, like, 3 different companies that have taken on the rubbish collecting like contract since we've lived here for like 4 years, and they're constantly like back and forth on strike, all this kind of stuff. So like, I don't like the, you know, council needs to pony up, or like they need to find a better rubbish collection service, because like it's just not it. I used to work for a trash company. The contracts are always bullshit too. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's one of those where I'm like, I don't know, it's one of those where I think, unfortunately, you know, this goes to, I think that the council probably is lining their pocketbooks and trying to, you know, garner the cheapest deals for, you know, the least amount of money, for the least amount of whatever, and then we're the ones that are stuck with the fallout of that. But, you know, that's conspiracy. That's Tasha Conspiracy Corner for another day. See, I've calmed down a bit. I can now work and talk at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so now our bins are sitting in front of our yard, in the alleyway, or not in the alleyway, in the front pathway. And we're just gonna leave them there till next week when they're supposed to be picking them up. We'll see what happens. Because the bins are so big and we've had so much rubbish, there's like 3 bags worth in there. So I have, like, I don't want to, see, now I'm just like in cynical corner. So I have this like thing where I don't know if they're going to take all 3 of the bags that are in the bin, or if they're just going to take the top bag. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could feel that happening. So, but we'll see. I'm going to try to be optimistic. Maybe they'll actually take all of their shit and it'll be fine. If not, we will be writing another strongly worded letter. We're just gonna get progressively more and more annoyed. Yeah, it is. No! Oh no, cat. Oh, I hate when that happens. Not so much, I don't think it's been like the swallowing. You're like that old lady, the song, you know what I mean? The song, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. But I'm not going to sing the rest of it because obviously I don't think that that's going to happen to you, and we don't want to manifest bad things. But yeah. Yeah, no, the thing that usually happens to me is it's when I'm walking with Shadow. To be fair, I do have this, but it's less about eating the bugs and one about taking a deep breath and accidentally inhaling one up my nose. Is your bathroom tape? That's cool. Yeah, especially I have this like unconscious feeling every time I go to pick up Shadow's poop, because usually if it's like a fresh one, there's flies all over it. And every time I like go to bend over, I don't know if it's like just an old, you know, being older or whatever, but it's almost like when you go to bend down, I almost like breathe in. I don't know what it is, like something about it. And so I always have to like consciously, I'm like, hold your breath at least until the flies move away. Cause I just have a feeling I'm gonna breathe in as I'm bending over, disrupt the flies when I go to pick up a poo, and one's gonna just, you know, go right up my nose. That is my fear every time I pick up Shadow poops in the garden. I'm like, one of these poo flies is gonna go right up my nose if I breathe in too deeply, so don't breathe. That's cool. About the tape recorder. I think I don't know what kind I had, but I remember having like a red children's cassette player with like a yellow microphone attached to it. Yup. Whenever I go out, the people always shout, "There goes John Jacob Jingleheimer's mate, na 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 na." Oh yeah, there were lots of childhood sing-along bangers. Absolutely. Yeah. That's cool though. Yeah. Why is it? I feel like a lot of children's cassette stuff, like children's like cassette, like, I don't know, cassette players, I guess. I feel like a lot of them were red. I feel like a lot of like handheld children's things are the color red for some reason. I guess it's all primary colors, but I don't think I've ever seen like a blue children's cassette player. It's only ever been like red or yellow. Yeah, possibly. That feels correct. That feels, I would believe that. I absolutely would believe that. The one towards the fruit with the... To the front. I don't know, I was like, there's no fruit on here. You had exactly, I think I had a red and yellow one as well. To the front. Okay, I know, I was like, I clicked on the image and I was like, there's no basket of fruit in the photo. I'm confused. The one with the blue speaker hole. Okay. Oh, interesting. That one's really cool looking. That's a pretty cool looking one. I feel like the ones that I had were probably more similar to the ones with like the microphones on them. I like that. Hey man, it's Friday. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. And it's like, I'm like, it's Friday and it's freaking warm out. Like, I'm surprised my brain's not melted out of my ears, you know? Oh my gosh, no way. You think you're the one in the back? That's amazing. I love that. I also love, I feel like we need to bring back children's boom boxes. I feel like everyone just has like an Echo and like their phones and stuff now. I'm like, nah man, we need to bring back the bright red and yellow childhood boom box. Oh, so you got a smaller version, yeah. At least I got you one. There was a compromise there. I was saying to Liam one time, because I had like a CD player in my room, because I used to like religiously listen to music to fall asleep to, like when I was growing up, pretty exclusively. And so I had a CD player in my room that I would listen to, and I got one of those ones that was one of those like I think it was a 5 CD changer. I think it was 5. It was like a massive CD changer. And of course you could shuffle. There was 2 options. You could listen to one CD and shuffle the CD itself, or you could shuffle between the 5 discs. So I'm trying to get to sleep, right? And I'm sleeping, and I think I eventually drowned it out. So I was gonna say, yeah, I am very well acquainted. I don't know if I would fully call myself a full-grown Disney adult, but like I'm pretty ding-dang close. I absolutely took my Disney year 2000s trivia game from my parents' house and moved it here with me to provide you with context in that respect. But yeah, so I would shuffle on the 5 CD changer, so it would play a song, and then it would go because it was moving it around to then put the new CD in. So yeah, those were the sweet, sweet sounds of my bedtime. Like a next song. Disney adult or Disney adult? Depends on the day. Depends on the day. It's Friday, so probably the latter. But yeah. It was actually really interesting too, because I was saying to Liam, that was one of the ways I discovered one of the CDs that I had a secret song at the end. So I would be listening to them on my Walkman, like, and then I would, yeah, right? I think especially too, at one point it kind of broke, and so I think it was like, yeah, it got more and more clunky as time went on. So I think I stopped doing the multi-CD shuffle at that point. I just picked one CD to shuffle it in the evening. Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Disney as like a concept and like a lifestyle and a sense of magic and wonder, 100% down for it, incredible. Disney as a corporation is being a piece of shit right now. Absolutely. Bob needs to just like pay people. Like, stop it. But yeah, and so there was a CD I had. It was a band called FM Static, which was like a Christian rock band that I didn't know they were a Christian band. I came across a radio station at my grandparents' house because I was just trying to find like cool music to listen to, and I came across this song that I really liked, and then I found out that I was listening to like a Christian rock channel afterwards, and I was like, hey man, whatever. I was that way with Flyleaf. Oh, no way! I've heard of Flyleaf, but I didn't end up listening to them. It was with that and also Reliant K. I also really fucked with Reliant K, and they were also a Christian band. But anyway, and so I had this album and I would listen to it, and then one time I was sleeping and I heard this like really, like I heard a song, and when I was like kind of in between sleep and awake, and I was like, I've never heard this song before. And it turns out the last song on this FM Static record, it'll just keep playing. And if you let it keep playing, I think the song itself is only like 2 minutes long. And then it's silence until 13 minutes in, and then another song plays. And I did not know that until I listened to it while I was sleeping. And obviously I wasn't there to be like, oh, that's the end of the album, like go to the next song sort of thing. Because I was asleep, I couldn't, decide the song was over. It shuffled, and then I heard this song in my sleep, and that's how I discovered that there was a secret song at the end of this album. But yeah, I was like, dang. You know what I also miss too about like listening to music? Because this is another thing too. I remember distinctly doing this when I was staying over at my grandparents' house as a child. And of course, me and my brother were like, we need to listen to music to fall asleep. And my dad put a CD on like his laptop, because that's when all laptops had disk drives, RIP the disk drive, and Windows Media Player would do its like trippy like spheres and whatever like to the beat of the music, And there was just something so hypnotizing and soothing about that, and I don't know if that exists anymore. Like, it's like that was the default to listen to music, right? Is it would be Windows Media Player, and then you could do the like image soundscape that would happen, and it was just the funnest thing, and I enjoy that, and I miss that very much, because I feel like now if I put music on, first of all, I don't even have a disc drive on here, but if I did like to listen to music and stuff like that, the first option isn't pretty Windows Media Player soundscape, and I miss that. I wish it was still a thing. Something similar happened to me, but I was awake and listened to Nirvana and nearly got to a heart attack. Really? Oh, what a shock to the system, I'm sure. You're just sitting there minding your own business, listening to tunes, and then all of a sudden... That's one way to wake you up, though, that's for sure. You're like, and I'm invigorated. I was not expecting that. That's so annoying that you have so much more. You're covering for so much. You're like, listen, it's Friday. Don't be like that. You're not supposed to take on more responsibilities on a Friday. I'm pretty sure that's like against the rules. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like legally not sound, not okay. Legally, you shouldn't be allowed to take on new responsibilities on a Friday. That's just not on. Yeah, truly. That's how I would feel too. I'd be like, listen. It is too late in the day for this. Really? That sounds... So is this more or less tedious than when you had to print out all of those records for the audit lady? This sounds like more of a ball ache than that did. That one just took a lot of time, but I feel like the process was quite simple. This sounds like an actual ball ache. I think it was a good call to, like, bring the item closer to me. More, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Lame. That's annoying. Oh, I'm so excited. Well, no, I'm excited, but I was making my packing list because next week I'm off to the second destination wedding of the year. So was it last week? I guess it was already last week, or was it? No, it was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Time is an illusion. Nothing is real. But my first wedding that you guys know, I went to Ireland, and now next week I'm going to Greece for a wedding, and I was doing my packing list today, and of course it's meant to be stupidly warm, and we're gonna be wearing fancy dress clothes. So I just ordered a bunch of like little decorated hand fans for myself and like any of my friends who want one, because I think the ceremony's meant to be outside. So then we will have fans with which to fan ourselves during what I can only assume is going to be a very, very hot day. Yeah, I know, right? I know. Apparently, though, I checked, I think it was yesterday or the day before, just to see, like, what next week was looking like, and it's, like, scheduled to rain, and, you know, Greece was nice enough to drop their weather down to, like, 29 degrees for us, which I really appreciate. So it's not going to be, you know, like, 35, but we'll see. Because, you know, last time I checked the weather to go on my away weekend, and it was meant to thunder and rain, and it was really warm. So who knows, man. But yeah. Even though people always say, anytime you get out a hand fan and go to, like, fan yourself, they go, you know, it actually requires more energy to do that than it does to just, like, sit there. And I'm like, yeah, but if this is a placebo effect that makes me feel like I'm not dying, I'm gonna do it. You know? I'll burn calories and keep cool, thank you very much. And I don't even know if that's true. I think that's just a thing that people say. And obviously, like, yeah, if you're sitting not moving, you're not burning calories, which again, I assume is not generating body heat. But like at the same time, if I can provide myself a little breeze to give myself some sort of relief, I'm gonna take it. Yeah, exactly. I would like a breeze on my face, please, so my makeup doesn't melt into my eyeballs. It was so funny. I was working on this today, and Liam came over, and he's like, oh, like, how's it going? And stuff, and he looked at it. He's like, this is a very big project. I was like, yep. Yes, it is. That tends to happen to me. I tend to be like, oh, this was a fun thing I wanted to do. Now let's jump into intermediate/hard mode. Because, you know, sometimes the beginner things just aren't as cute, or I, like, don't have see a use for them. And I'm like, no, I want to go straight to the thing I like. And 9 times out of 10, the thing I like is bigger and more complicated than the ones I don't like. And that's just the me problem. But it's good. I feel like I'm making faster progress on this than I was, than I am on the Howl's Moving Castle cross stitch. So I think the turnaround time with this, even though it is large, will be a bit quicker, I think. But if not, that's okay. It's about the journey. I also learned, because now a lot of them are in bags, and I stopped myself from dumping the entirety of the bag in the tray, because I remember you guys being like, the whole point of these ridges is to help make it easier for you to pick up your diamonds, and I was just like flooding them because I didn't have any other option, and then I did that again, and I was like, I have a resealable bag to keep the majority of the beads in. I do not need to dump them all in the tray every time I use them. And that's called growth, friends. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Aw, I know, you get it, Pancake, definitely. But it's just, sometimes it's difficult. Because the other problem too is I want to instantly be good at something right away. Because I want to be able to do the thing I want to do. Thankfully, I think, even though this is considered intermediate, I feel like the actual act of doing this is pretty straightforward. I think the only thing that makes it intermediate is that it's like, instead of lump groups of the same color and smaller items, it's just bigger and a lot more kind of scattered in terms of its like color dispersion, which that's fine. It just means it's gonna take longer. Not necessarily, I don't know, like I don't know what the difference between like an intermediate versus like a beginner Diamond Dotz would be, except for the size and sort of like confetti style placement of the dots. But correct me if I'm wrong. Wonder if they thought of children. Oh yeah, probably. Probably. That's actually a fair point. So I am an intermediate in age as well as technical prowess. I appreciate that. Yeah, that checks out. Now when people ask, I'll be like, hello, I am intermediate age. I am of the intermediate age. But yeah, I would think so. Oh, I was just going through my Venmo and unfriended a bunch of people that got auto. Oh, really? Age expert. Yeah, yeah, man. I think so. At what age do we think is expert? No! Oh no! That's so, yeah, yeah, when you are auto, that's like sometimes too when I'm scrolling, when I'm like not awake yet, and I accidentally like something or accidentally like press too hard on something and like trigger, I don't know, a conversation or whatever, and I'm just like, dude, I was scrolling while like having one eye open. I can't be trusted this early in the morning. That's so weird though that it like like I didn't realize that Venmo was so connected to Facebook. Like Venmo's not really a thing here. It's like all through the banks and stuff. That's wild that they're like, let's use your social media to add people to your Venmo list. I don't like that. Hi, Nikki. I'm good. I'm a bit roasty toasty, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I hope you are well. Happy Friday. Don't know if it is anymore, but when, oh, okay, that's what it did at the beginning. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure they probably get it. They're probably like, yeah, I don't care. I guess it's one of those that's like, I guess you either ignore it or you like double down on it and you send a Venmo request for like that one time you inconvenienced me in that college class. I think you owe me $5. You know, like you could just like really go hard, or just ignore it. Yeah, truly. Same, Nikki. So we're just out here trying to stay as cool as possible. Absolutely. Hope everyone's got their hydration, got their waters. But yeah, I've got the fan going. We have a portable air conditioning unit, but obviously it's really loud and obnoxious, so I basically try to cool down the room as much as possible and then turn it off to stream. But so I have the fan blowing, so I'm doing all right. But yeah, it's not ideal. First one. No, really? Oh, that's strange. That's very strange. I don't think that's ever happened to me. I've had colleagues try to add me, but customers, you're like, I'm sorry. That doesn't work that way. The customer, like the customer and service provider relationship, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. That's strange. That is strange. You're like, no, thank you. I was actually going through like my follower list on Instagram the other day, just out of like curiosity's sake. And the thing is, because I've stopped doing it, because every time I would post my stream schedule, I would tag like Twitch streamer, like, you know, do all the hashtags for like streaming on Twitch and whatever. And I think now I just do the maker and crafting tag, because every time I would post something with those tags, I would automatically get like 3 or 4 like graphic designer spam accounts following me. And now I go through and like you can tell when I've obviously posted like and used those tags. So there's just like a chunk of like really badly copied pixelated versions of like graphic art on their profiles, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Yeah, that's also very peculiar, and that would explain why that's happening, I guess. Yeah, because ours would, like, when I worked retail, we only had our first name. That's interesting that they used to have your last name on them. Because it's almost like it's almost like a safety issue, right? Yeah, I feel like that would be a safety issue almost. Or, you know, at least there was enough of you to identify, like, yes, this is a safety issue, to get it changed. Because you're like, you don't need people bothering you at work. Work's already stressful enough. We don't need people randomly friend requesting you before and after your shift. Like, that's not fun. Yeah. Really? That's, ugh, yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? It's like, okay, if you're having this kind of behavior, you do not want to give them more information than they need. And to be fair, they don't really need any information from you. Okay, we do have a few that I think we need to get into. So K I already have, but V and 9. Oh, there's an X here actually. There we go. There's an X there. There's a 1. Or whatever here. Okay, so we're gonna put these guys away, I think. No, maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay, we put these guys away. My dad says his full name when he introduces himself to strangers. Oh my goodness. Wow. His full name? Damn. You're thinking it might be fun too. That would be fun too. I would love to have like a suit, like, yeah, like almost like a stage name. Cause that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean? Like when you're at work, I do feel like there's a level of performance cause you have to like, you can't like fully let your guard down and be your true self when you're at work. There's like certain levels of professionalism and certain levels of like, you know, not having people know your business and stuff. So I think having a stage name would be perfect. I love that idea. Oh my goodness! Aw, Pat! Guys, Sutherland is here! Bah, 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 bah. Hello, friend! I hope you are well. Welcome in. My name is Nostalgia Tash. For those of you who don't know, we are currently diamond painting and, you know, getting into all sorts of chaos and conundrums and rants and such. I hope you are well. If you need to raid and run, I totally understand. But if not, please stay a while and tell me what you are working on. Share what any links you would like. Let me remember to do this. Guys, if you're not following Art by Sutherland, aka Pat, aka Awesome Human Being, you need to. I don't know what else to tell you. Get on that. Get on that. Oh, cool. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Drawing animals dressed up as famous characters. Aw, that's so cool. What sort of characters were you doing? I'll see them all. Hopefully, I'll see them all on the gram later too. Guys, also follow Sutherland on Instagram, so if you miss his streams, you can then see all the cool art shit that he does. Because it's very fun and very cool, and it's a lot of like melding of different genres and different, you know, cinematic universes and stuff like that. And it's so fun and it's so creative. And I think it's awesome. And I think you will too. Yeah, please. Please, please. Okay, where are we going from here? We still need 7s. We still need... Who else can I put away? We'll put, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, what's V? There we go. It's going chaotically still. I have officially run out of bags. Here you go. Oh, perfect. Let me see. Oh, so cool. Oh, Hamster Belle looks incredible. Oh, dude, Eagle Leia looks very menacing. Like, I would not mess with Eagle Leia at all. Those are so cool. Ah, so sassy. So sassy, Eagle Leia. I love it. Oh, yeah, it must be. Is that a mouse with his Mojo Dojo Casa house? Incredible. Incredible. Oh, I love it. But yes, it's been chaotic. I've run out of, ain't it a wonder that her name means beauty? Do, 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 do. But yeah, so I took a bunch of things out of this container. Possum Ken, even better, even better. So he Mojo Doja Casa houses upside down. I'm pretty sure possums like hang by their tail upside down, right? No, maybe, I think so. But yeah, so I've been putting them in here, but I can't remember. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I need to try to remove them from here, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. So yeah, still chaotic, but we're loving it. We're just basking in the chaos. Okay, this is a V. Where's my H? I might actually triple up. I think so. Yeah, I think upside down too, yeah? Yeah, see, we're gonna be even more chaotic. Nikki, I'm very sorry, but we're actually gonna add a third set of beads to this one specifically. Just because, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So we're gonna get our Sharpie and we're gonna add, yeah, it's the Van Gogh painting Starry Night. It's like a painting that I've been kind of obsessed with since secondary school, since high school. And so when I discovered that there is an option, I know. I've been being very chaotic about this. There's been no diamond separation because I only have, this kit was kind of bananas because they only gave me one tray, one stylus, one pot of wax, which I think will be fine, but then only 10 bags and there's 31 colors. So when I open the bag, I only have 10 bags to stick them in. So I've been having to double and now triple up the options to ensure that we can actually fit everything in its proper home. But yeah, so that's just the kind of shenanigans that we've been up to the last little while. Where you live? You live here. But yeah, this is H and plus. Uh-oh. Yeah. No, they're not. It's sort of, we have like a bit of like a gold color, a yellow color, and the blue. So I think we'll be okay. We're a bit more like similar colors with the gold and the yellow, but it's enough of a contrast that I will be able to still tell which is which. Hello, welcome back, Rebecca. I hope your grocery shopping went well. We have been, you know, dotting around, getting all of the bits and bobs and dots on, and we're doing quite well, I think. I don't know. Every once in a while I have a little bit of a panic that I'm accidentally sticking a color in the wrong spot, but I don't think it's actually happened yet, so that's good. I don't know if that happens often to people who are undertaking Diamond Dotz of a large color palette variety, but that's not happened to me yet. Knock on wood. There you go. Knock on the wood. Ah, very nice, very nice. I'm glad that food was also involved in that. You've done it before? Yeah. I assume, because some of them, like, especially when you're moving around, you're like, oh, that's where that's supposed to go. And then you're like, oh, man, never mind. I dropped one earlier, too, and then it really stuck itself down. So I don't need to be pushing down as hard as I think I have been. Because I had to, like, then drag it across the page to get it in the right location. I could not pick it up. It was, like, fully solidified and stuck to it. So I needed to just, like, make it happen, but thankfully I was able to still move it. So it's, like, it's almost like you can slide them around, it seems. Even if, yeah. Yeah, no problem, Pat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for stopping by and bringing everyone. Take some rest. I know you streamed your little heart out. You made some really cool stuff, and you deserve to take care of yourself. So Amazing. Thank you so much for stopping by and bringing your community to me. I've had it wear a close shade of blue. Yeah. To be fair, I've done that with a cross stitch as well, where I cross stitched a color and I did the entire thing thinking it was meant to be a white, and it was like the lightest yellow color, and I was like, well, it's too far gone now. There's no turning back. That is just the way it is now. Because I wasn't going to frog the whole thing. I was like, because I think I had done it and even switched colors and was doing something else, and then noticed how similar it was and was like, well, never mind. It happens. Especially too if if the shade is like so similar, I think like, especially with things like this when it's like very popcorn or like very sort of confetti style, having one or like having a few of them in one color, like almost like switching the order of them a little bit, I think it's probably still salvageable. Yeah, these ones are. So they're, I don't know if you can really see. They are circular and then they're kind of like faceted, though you can get square ones I've seen. I just flicked that somewhere. That's fine. But yeah, they're like little rounded circles and then they're sort of like faceted a little bit. But yeah. But yeah, I've seen that you can, I've only ever, like myself, used circular ones, the kits that I've done. I know I dropped one. It's probably stuck to my leg somewhere. I was full on like having lunch on the sofa and then found one stuck to my leg. I was like, well, it is warm enough for that. And I am wearing shorts, so I'm not surprised that tiny bits of plastic are sticking to me right now. Oh, interesting. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the circles would still allow you to see a bit of the background color through. It's probably, you know what it is? It reminds me of with cross-stitching. Some people prefer to use 2 strands of floss when they stitch versus like 3 strands. Because then 3 strands, it's a fuller stitch, so you don't see the white or like whatever color of the Aida cloth poking through. Whereas some people like the look of that, so they'll do like only 2 strands so that they can still see that. So yeah, it must be, again, similarly, I think there's probably a personal preference component to that. You found the error! Amazing! Ah, okay, so it was not a you problem, it was a her problem, but you still had to solve it. Interesting, interesting. Funny how that works out, isn't it? The error is that there was no error. The error is that you are the error. Okay, asking, there are people in chat, what would be the ideal plant or small insect for a drawing? Ooh. I would do like a leaf. Like I would do like a big oak leaf, or beetle is a good choice. Butterfly is a good choice. Yeah, like a leaf specifically, or like a couple sprigs of like lavender or rosemary or something. I think lavender would be really cool. Like a few sprigs of lavender with like a little bow around it. But yeah, insects are usually pretty good. Ooh, a purple gold jumping spider. That's very specific, but sounds incredible. I like the idea of a glittery spider. That's really cool. I like it. Beetles are fun shapes. It's true. Yeah. Can we go for a plant? Yeah. Yeah, snake plants are cool. I'm sorry, that's real? That looks painted. That's so cool. They look like jeweled earrings. Like the ones on the bottom, like they look like jeweled earrings. Oh, cacti. Yeah. Or a rose. Tulips are usually, I would say, I feel like when I was a kid, that was my go-to. My go-to was a tulip because you kind of just draw like a facing up Pac-Man, but like with pointy edges, and then you draw like a point, like a triangle in the center of the Pac-Man mouth. Tulip. Ooh, bleeding hearts are cool too. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I can see why. They're very cool. Again, like I said, they look like jewelry. They're like live jewelry. Dogs are my favorite. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what my favorite flower is. Yeah, of course. Anytime. Intermission ended. It wasn't intermission. They're so much. Okay, yeah. Have I already opened 3? Yes. Okay, 3 is there. We need 3 and K. So I think we're gonna do 3. Right? No problem. Exactly. We got you, Probacus. The only thing is I feel like these, like, they're almost kind of staticky. So the diamonds like to stick to the tray, which is not ideal. But it's all good. Alright, okay, so I said we needed K and 3. K is this one. Alright, I do not need to pour the entire thing out. Growth. I do not need to do that. Okay. I think I'll also add nine to the mix in this one. Daffodil. Ooh, yeah, those are really nice. I think my mother-in-law's favorite is sunflowers. Oh, do you? Oh, that's awesome. Move these guys up here. We're gonna add you here. It is funny because depending on the light, even though I've matched like opposing colors, this is like a goldy color and then there's a purple in here. Sometimes when the light hits it, the purple kind of looks like the gold. So I do need to double check when I pick them up. But we've not made a mistake yet, so. Yeah, no problem, Nikki. Yeah, no, I won't be streaming on the weekend, but I'll be back here on Tuesday. So I'll be streaming Tuesday from 3 p.m. UK time to 6 p.m. UK time. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you had a lovely time. I enjoyed spending time with you, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. And I will hopefully see you later. Amazing. Yeah, you too. All right. Ooh. K. Okay. Are there any more K's in the immediate vicinity before we swap this over again? Oh, a few more. Every time I'm like, oh, I've done all the K's. I'm like, that found it. Found you. This kind of feels a little bit like playing hide and seek, where I'm just kind of, or like a Where's Waldo, which here in the UK it's Where's Wally, which kind of blew my mind when I found that out. Yeah, it's not Where's Waldo in the UK, it's Where's Wally. But yeah, I was a bit like, that's kind of what this feels like. Where I'm searching for... I hate that. You hate that it's Wally? I know, it feels weird saying it. It's Waldo, yeah. Where's Wally is a... Yeah, no, not a fan. Not a fan of Wally. The only Wally I like is the animated Pixar film Wall-E. That's a Wally that's my homie. I like that Wally. I don't like the Waldo Wally. Because he's not Wally, he's Waldo. Any more? Okay, there are H's in this vicinity. It's Where's Walter in Journey? That's so funny. I didn't realize he had different names all over the place. Oh my goodness. Where's Walter? He sounds like an old man. I'm sorry. Walter is like, I guess Walter White, but like still, Walter gives me like old man vibes. And I put like Waldo in like his, I don't know, how old is Waldo? Like, I'm picturing him being like maybe in his like mid-20s or something. He seems like a young man. You know what I mean? But Walter sounds like a 40-year-old. Yeah. Yeah, Walter gives me elderly person vibes, right? Wally to me, I think, I don't know who, but Wally to me, I don't know if this is real, but I feel like there's a cartoon character named Wally the Walrus, but I'm not sure. It's true, Waldo doesn't seem like a real name. Waldo seems like a fake made up name, which then almost makes sense, like it almost makes sense for a fictionalized person that you look for. There's Wally Gator. Oh, I didn't know about that one. Yeah, Waldo is definitely, yeah, that's not a real name. But that's maybe the thing is, maybe if all of the names were like more made up, like Wally and Walter are like very, like they're just proper names. So it's almost like I need like a Waldorf, like the salad. Like if it was Waldorf, like where's Waldorf, I would almost like not be as mad about it. Waldorf would piss me off less than Wally does. Wally World. Yes, that was the thing. There must be a mascot. What's the mascot of the fictionalized theme park Wally World in Family Vacation? It's a moose. Oh, that's not. No. The only moose I know is Elliot Moose. Or there was another one. I've talked about this before, how we did a Christmas concert a few years where it was called, oh man. The show was called Moose on a Loose. And it was a show that we got all of the primary school kids to put on, and it was like a musical, because all the Christmas concerts are always musical plays. And it was about a moose who I think wanted to go be a reindeer. I think. But I don't remember what the name of the moose was. Did anyone else have Elliot Moose, or was that a niche Canadian thing? It was a book. I know. Really? Moose on the Loose? That's not a thing here. Oh, Elliot Moose was a whole thing. It was similar. It was like up there with like Pokeroo and stuff. I think they then did eventually like animate it. But it was originally, yeah. And the whole chorus was just saying Elliot Moose is on the loose with like different inflection from what I remember. It was like, Elliot Moose is on the loose. 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 Elliot. You know, that was the theme song. Elliot Moose. It was around the same time as like Bananas in Pajamas. It was of that ilk. So yeah, no, not ringing any bells. This is just a Tasha thing. It does. I know, they did try real hard. It does actually, now that I think about it, it does seem like a very Canadian thing. Absolutely. Yeah. Now I need to look it up. Let me look it up. Let's look up Elliot Moose. Elliot Moose. Yeah, it straight up says Canadian television series from 1999, and it had 6 seasons. So it was a banger. Oh, in French he is Elliot Caribou. Yeah, live action. Oh, it's based on a book series. So it is based on a book series. Elliot Moose is a young moose who lives in a place called the Big House and goes on adventures with his friends Beaverton, Lionel, Socks, and Paisley. Oh yeah, I think Socks is a monkey. So Elliot's a moose. Yeah, Socks is a purple monkey. Paisley's a red bear. Lionel is a yellow lion. And Beaverton is a dark brown beaver. There's also a female anteater named Amy and a mouse named Mong. Good to know. I'll have to add that to my list of potentially cursed children's show options. What are you doing, Bubba? He's like, whatever, guys. Alright, we are making progress. Though we do have a couple. We have a 1. 1-1. Where's my Uno Mas? Definitely opened it already. Oh, is it in here? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna... Oh, maybe I can just rescue it from here. Hey, there we go. 1. And then... this guy. I could probably... like... swap them out, but I just kind of need one-offs to complete these sections. Oh, we need a plus here as well. I have that out though, so that's fine. Cool. Okay, just making sure that I'm not missing any dots in this general vicinity. It does not appear that way, so that's good. I think we do need... what do we need now? Where do we go from here? Where do we go now? Okay, over here. Oops. Might need to add more wax to this. It's getting a little loose. That's fine though. Guys, started a book talk recommendation yesterday. Really? Oh no. Do you write a review? Ew, no. That's unfortunate. I feel like, yeah, there needs to be... I would have thought that like book talk would be like a bit more woke and would put more disclaimers and stuff of that sort of nature. Like I would have thought they would have, like, you know what I mean? Like I would assume book talk would be like, by the way, this has like, you know, essay in it. This has like death of some kind. This has, you know what I mean? Like I assume they would be a bit more trigger warny about stuff. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you had a positive recommendation. Right, yeah. I guess that's the thing, because some people do have, like fantasies in that nature, but I feel like you should not assume that everybody would enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a you thing. Maybe you don't recommend that to everyone. Is that this guy? I can't tell. We're just gonna ignore it. Yeah. 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 Fair. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those where you're like, that's... Because, like, at that point, you're just like, why not have, like, a dom sub situation? Because that at least is consensual. And it could, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit... There's ways to get your rocks off in a way that isn't that, like, role-playing that. You know what I mean? Reasons why I mostly read fan fiction. That's good. That's good. That's cool to know that fanfic is disclaimered. That's really good. I like that. I like supportive communities like that are like, heads up, this is a thing. Yeah. That's what I mean, right? But, yeah. Aww. That's a real jarring for, like, the pacing of a story. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, yeah, like, that's quite a jarring switch, especially for you, like, for you to say that it was so sweet as you were reading through it, for then it to make, like, a hard pivot like that just seems like a weird stretch. Like, it feels like disjointed storytelling, yeah. And, like, by the way, trauma, and you're like, did it need to happen? I don't know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, the book before was sweet. Okay. Right. It was more just that this recommendation was, yeah. Gotcha. That was like, I remember reading, so there was this, like, horror author retelling of Alice in Wonderland. It was called Alice by, I think, Christina Henry, I think was the name of the author. And I read the first book, and I found out that there was a third one. Actually, I was at the airport, and I realized that there was a third one, because the first one I really liked, but it was really heavy and, like, almost borderline on, like, trauma porny, but, like, in a fantasy sort of sense. So I was a bit, like, there were elements of it, though, that I enjoyed enough to sort of get through that. Then the second one I didn't like at all. Luckily it wasn't because of the trauma porniness. It was just, like, the way the direction of the story and the characters went. I was like, this is dumb. I don't like this. So I'm not even gonna entertain reading the third one, because I'm like, they've lost me at that point. I believe it. But yeah, because that's the other thing too. I have this, like, graphic novel by Zenoscope, and they do a whole Wonderland comic book series, and I already knew, like, it's a comic book series that, like, has very sort of, like, adult, scantily clad Wonderland characters, but I was still, like, intrigued by it. And so I have this thing, and I want to finish reading it, but again, it's quite, like, I feel like there's a way to make things, like, dark and creepy and spooky without, like, being trauma inducing, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's almost like a cheap, sick fantasy to just go that route automatically. But yeah, so it is a shame, but I still have this thing, so will eventually finish reading it before I get rid of it, essentially. So yeah. What do we need now? Yeah. I think the other thing too, like, I don't know, like, if there's other kind of books, but I think the thing, especially with this comic book series, is it wasn't like they picked, like, one potentially triggering trauma situation. They were like, let's hit you with all the trigger warnings over the course of this anthology series. And I'm like, really? Like, if you're gonna take, like, the dark, depraved route, like, maybe just pick one of all of the trauma depravities to, like, explore, you know what I mean? But they were like, never mind, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and I'm like, this is a lot. This is overshadowing the interesting retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but yeah. Oh, absolutely. I totally, like, respect, and I think that's the thing too, where I think the thing too where I realized that I maybe, like, almost becoming more sensitized to the world, because especially when I was younger, I was like, give me that dark, gritty, like, you know, whatever, like, all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, man, like, I was super into it, and, like, as I've gotten older, I think my heart's just gotten softer, and I'm like, I don't know if I can take it anymore, you know? Yeah. Right, yeah. But I understand, like, I don't know. I understand the desire to have characters go through traumatic, difficult experiences to then overcome them and have, like, a character arc. I understand and respect that. And I think, obviously, there are ways to do that. I do think, though, that there is, like, an oversaturation, specifically, of, like, male authors writing female characters going through types of trauma, and you're like, I don't know if you should be the one telling this story. You know? But who knows? Where am I at right now? What do I need? Yeah. Are you into, like, true crime and stuff too, Pancake? Or are you just into, like fanfic, fictionalized, like, dark stuff? That's one of the things, like, I've never been somebody, I guess because I'm also, like, I'm not a horror person in general. And then also, yeah, not really a true crime person. Yeah. My in-laws are really into, like, true crime and stuff, too. The only true crime I like is, I feel like, but it's almost like a true crime parody. It is a true crime parody, is the show Only Murders in the Building with Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. And they're initially drawn together for their love of, like, true crime. I'm enjoying that. Yeah. That is the complaint of a lot. I think now we're sort of having a bit of a reckoning of, like, how to ethically tell true crime stories. Because I think, yeah, there was a lot of, like, exploitive components to that. Yeah? Oh, amazing. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, what do we need to transition into? I think if we move this up a little bit and we do all of our 7s, then we can move this guy along. Trying to get into more books. Usually true crime. Oh yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. You know, I used to be such an avid reader when I was younger, and I just lost it. I have a book that I have read 3 chapters of, and it has just sat on the sofa staring at me for about a month now. I think I should be good, and because it's the flight to Greece is going to be like a 4-hour flight. And so I was planning to download, like, a movie and, like, episodes of shows onto my tablet, but maybe I'd be, I don't know, a better person and, like, just bring my book and then force myself to read it, but just into romance for the most part. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the small book pile that just mocks you. Yeah, I had the audacity to have a lot of it in front of me. Or behind me, sorry. Because there are many books on this shelf that I have not read yet. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And even too, because I was really into audiobooks for a while, and then I sort of fell off, and I've not finished them, even though I have a few downloaded. So I guess I could get back into it that way. Because I think one of the reasons why I stopped reading is because I got really into crafting, and I was like, well, my hands are occupied. I can't hold a book. So then it seemed like, yeah, audiobooks is sort of the next transition into that. But I have like my certain podcasts that I listen to. Though to be fair, I'm all up to date on the ones I'm interested in listening to. So this might be a good time before next week to get back into the audiobook of it all, because then I can listen to that before the new episodes of the podcasts I like come out. Almost like evened out from the top part where we started working, so I'm just trying to move everything up a little bit and then kind of work towards this new line, just to give me a bit of direction. I also don't want to move this up too much higher. Just sort of keep it around here. I was reading for weekend before going to sleep for a few hours. Oh, yeah. Oh, see, that's good, because what has happened to me is I get to the point now where I think it's like a byproduct of being on my phone all the time, and I'm just so like overstimulated, that like reading a physical book in bed makes me sleepy. Like reading actual physical books now, like I struggle. My eyes start like, and I read the same like line 12 times and I go, this isn't happening. Yeah. That's good. Like, it's one of those where I guess it is good. I guess you have to read like a more of a boring book. Read a book that's not like super, and you gotta read like a non-fiction self-help book or something like that. That'll be like you can read a little bit. Okay. So we've done our 7s along here. Is there anything else along here we need to? We have some pluses and some again, not wanting to move too high up, but wanting to I'm sure I'll miss one or two, but if I can get the bulk of what I want. Okay, now we do pluses along here. feel like we're making good progress. I feel like this is almost like a quarter of the way done. Like once we sort of match up with this, maybe even a third, like maybe a little under a third. So considering that we've been working on this for basically a week, I think that that's not bad. Here's our baseline. Do we have any more pluses in and along here? I don't think so. Okay. So this one we can put away for now. And I think we need to get out our three and our percentage sign. Whew, I think I need to like stare off into the distance for a second though. My eyes are like struggling to autofocus right now. Let's just, you know, stare off into the distance for a second. Isn't it, there's like a thing, is there like a sight hygiene or something like that where you're supposed to almost like stare into the far distance for like 30 seconds or something like that, and then you can also do like almost like a clock check where you like rotate your eyes or something like that. I don't know if I'm making this shit up. I don't know if the rotating part is necessary, but I think the staring off into the distance part is necessary. So something about like your eyes always being sort of in a similar position, and then it struggles to sort of focus in a different depth when it's constantly staring at the same depth for a long period of time. But that could be made up. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what and how, and you know, but I'm sure staring at this for 2 hours straight is not the best for my eyes. Yeah. Sarah's sitting far away for 5 minutes. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I think I'm gonna need, yeah, because I wear glasses for like distance vision and stuff like that, because I noticed that when I was going for walks with Shadow, my eyes were like struggling to read the signs up ahead. But then the eye doctor was saying too, like if you spend a lot of time staring this close away, like that mechanism is almost like it's like an exercise for your brain or your eyes. So if you're not utilizing that skill, it's like, I think almost like a use it or lose it situation. But I think the problem is, you know, there has to be something interesting to stare at in the distance, or else, you know, the desire to want to pick up my phone and stare at that because, you know, that's more interesting defeats the purpose. Yeah, I'm also very nearsighted. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I do feel like that's probably a product of our own design, but it's just the way we are as a society now. Everything is very close. Oh, really? I know, I keep wondering if I need to. I think mine are okay. But the other thing, too, is I also have issues with, like, with allergies and, like, itchy, gummy eyes and stuff like that. So I remember saying to my parents, like, oh, I think my eyes are getting worse. I might need to up my prescription. And then my dad made a good point, being like, well, yeah, if your eyes are almost, like, clouded by allergies, they are not going to be as clear as if they are allergy-free. So I'm like, that's a fair point. Because I do find it's not as bad as it was, so maybe that's what it was the hay fever symptoms being out of whack. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things too, though, where it's like it's almost like you don't have time to work on that, because it's like you have to get places and you need to be able to see to get to those places, and therefore you then don't, like, have that opportunity. I also don't like being uncomfortable, and so if I have to, like, train my eyes to see farther away, I assume that would cause myself to get a headache, and I would rather avoid having a headache. You got laser eye? Oh yeah. My mom did that, actually. She got it for cataracts, though. But she does fine. I think she still has reading glasses, but, like, she had really, really bad eyes. Like, she had the thickest lenses, and now she just needs, like, a reading glasses every once in a while, but doesn't need it for a lot of other stuff. Whereas before, she, like, needed to wear her glasses all the time. True as well. They're also, yeah, she is Cyclops from X-Men, obviously. Yeah, you can smell your eyes burning. Oh, that's a weird sensation. That's interesting. That would be a very strange experience. Yeah, to be fair, the same thing would happen to me. I feel like I would really struggle to manage laser eyes, to be quite honest. There would be a lot of accidental lasering that would have occurred, you know, as I try to manage such a situation. Just, yeah. Yes, yeah, absolutely. There would be the don't mess with me accident and the actual true accidents. Yeah, they are two distinctly different things, but both would definitely be occurring. This is 9K and square. Do we have any? I think I saw some squares, but I think, oh, there we go. There's some K's as well. Yeah, the unfortunately the purple and the gold color are actually not as opposites as not as contrasty as I initially thought when I joined them together. Oh, there's actually tons of K. Good thing we checked. Yeah, no problem, Kat. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye! I'm actually going to a child's first birthday party this weekend, which I'm actually very excited about. Oh, you're running away. Yeah. Have you decided to paint your nails? I remember we were talking about this. Are you painting your nails, Potato? Oh, really? You've only been to one other wedding. Oh, that's interesting. That'll be exciting. I always find weddings are a lot of fun. Like, when you're a guest, you're just, like, hanging out. I've always, like, I feel like, I don't know, when it's your wedding or your thing, like, there's so much to think about and, like, worry about and stuff. But when you're a guest, you're like, whatever, man. I'm just gonna, like, eat the food, vibe out, do some dancing. Like, you don't have any cares in the world. Just an excuse to dress up and party. You painted them. Oh, cool. That's all right, though. That's still exciting. What color did you paint them? Any more K's? Oh, there's a couple more there. So a few more. And I lost them. There they are. There is more up here, but I feel like, again, we don't want to move up too high. So the other one we were looking for is the square, which I don't think there is. All right, so we can now pare this one down, and we can... Which other color do we need to bring in the mix? I think we have to bring our circle back. Circle back to our circle one. Oops. You live here, though we should maybe check. Actually, no, we will. You are not circles. Where are you? You are circles. Oh yes, H plus and V. I think we are, oh no, we didn't. Okay. Interesting, interesting. H plus and V are our options. Is there any more pluses? I don't believe so. Any more V's? I also don't see those, but we'll fill in these H's. I feel like we have a bit of a system going now. I know that there are some colors we've still not opened, but we've not come across them yet. I think they happen further up, it seems, which is perfect. We'll just, you know, spend as long as we can not opening all the things. Here. Okay, there's a few more H's and K's and stuff around here, but we're trying to move these guys up a bit, so we will cross that bridge later. I think there's quite a few. Well, I'm not even looking over here. I think we're safe though. We're okay. We've actually not gotten up to that point yet anyway, so that's okay. So these guys we need to focus on over here. Oh, did you? Oh, perfect. Let me see. Ooh, is it kind of, it's like a shiny pink, it seems. I like it. I like it a lot. That's nice. It's like nice and kind of glowy. Like a pearlescent sort of glow on your hands. That's really awesome. Yeah. Amazing. That's gonna look really nice. It'll complement the, I'm sure, complement your ensemble. I love it. I'm proud of you. Yay, nail painting. Slowly converting all of you. Sorry, I'm just readjusting this cooling mat. Yes, very shiny, indeed. We love a shiny. You'll be like a shiny Pokemon out in the wild. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You don't almost want to like overload with tons of color. I respect that, definitely. So you're sort of going like sort of like to mute, you know, or just like to sort of be like a complementary thing as opposed to having a lot of different sort of bright colors. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. These are the ones we need a lot of. There's also a lot of X's we need to fill in as well. Ooh, I can feel, I think the cool air that I've created in this space is slowly starting to dissipate. The fan is only doing so much. It's alright, we shall persevere. Can't even imagine how Liam's feeling. Liam's upstairs right now and it's so warm. He has a fan as well, but it's so much warmer on the upper part of the house than the bottom part of the house. 'Tis not fun. Oops. All right, where are we at in terms of our circles? There we go. Yeah. Really? Oh no. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, so you are at like the hottest part of the building. Ha, gee, Scoob. Yeah, that's not ideal. Especially in a heat wave. I don't know if Germany is experiencing a similar thing, but it is hot as balls over here. I feel like there's moments where I just like open up my freezer door and just like stick my head in there just to sort of like let it cool down for a second. Yeah, oh definitely. Yeah, you're in a similar boat of wanting it to be crunchy autumn leaf vibes and Mother Nature being like, nah, be hot and sweaty instead, which is honestly very rude. I'm like, I want to pick apples and drink pumpkin spice and wear cute sweaters. I don't want to be sweating. I'm appreciating this big band Oompapa situation going on right now. Yeah, truly. I will be the exact same. I do feel that it's probably still going to be warm for Halloween. I'm having a Halloween party on the 15th of October, and I have a feeling that it's not going to be enough time for the weather to calm down. To be fair, last year I think I had a Halloween party like to the later part of the month, and it was so hot. So I anticipate something very similar. Annoyingly, but because I feel like most of the costumes I enjoy pulling out are like long sleeved, makeup, like I don't know, man. Yeah, it does kind of match the shirt. Yeah, it's like a Mickey parade sort of situation. Yeah. That's annoying. You're like trying to do autumn vibes and you're like, this ain't it. This ain't it. The weather's not cooperating. Yeah, this is giving like Main Street Parade vibes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or even just like wanting to wear like, you know, like a long dress or something. There's always a lot of components to it. Yeah, absolutely. I know. Do you remember that phase that we all go through as children? It's probably like the preteen phase. Because I feel like I was over it by a teenager. And that like phase in your life where you're like, I'm too cool. Like I'm too edgy and cool to wear a winter jacket. Especially in Canada, you go through a phase where you're just like, it's not that cold. Like, I'm gonna wear, like, a cute jacket and not a winter jacket. And I'm like, bitch, it is minus 20 degrees in the Canadian winter. Put on a parka. But, yeah, everyone goes through that phase. I don't think my no jacket, cool Tasha phase didn't last very long, I don't think. But I feel like it's almost like a rite of passage where kids just decide that suddenly coats aren't cool for, like, they're not a cool accessory for a minute. And you're like, okay, but why? I guess because we wanted to show off our, like, cool clothes and we didn't want to cover them up with a jacket. But, like, listen. Yeah! Yeah, I feel like, I wonder if like teenagers, because like I know our brains are still developing. I wonder if we have like, I don't know, like I think there's a thing where like teenagers' brains develop, like they're developing at a time where, yeah, like your actions almost are like, I don't know, there's like more risk-taking behavior just as opposed, like, I don't know, because I think there's some science behind like teenage brains needing more like dopamine or something like that, so they're more likely to kind of do more higher risk things to get like that rush, and they also don't have their cognitive functioning like fully developed, so a lot of times they'll like make stupid decisions and you'll be like, well, why did you do that? And they'll be like, I literally don't know. And they literally don't, because their brain is just kind of like, I don't know, get the hormonal dopamine rush, do the thing, and then you go, you don't have the rational thinking part of your brain fully developed to be like, that doesn't make sense. That's dumb. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that also correlates with like pain receptors and stuff too, where your brain's like, I don't know, man, that seems like a lot of work to get dressed. You might as well just go outside now. Whereas an adult with a fully formed prefrontal cortex, you're like, it takes 2 seconds to put on shoes and a jacket. Yeah. Yeah, right? I'm the same. I have so many cute jackets that I can't wear because it's too freaking hot for them. I'm the same, exactly. I'm like, look at all my cute sweaters and cute jackets that I can't wear because it's too hot. Yeah, yeah. Ain't nobody got time. Truly, yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. Especially youths. They're like, we don't got time. We got places to be, stuff to do, people to see. We don't have time to get dressed. So sad when I was a child, it was too cool. Yeah! Right? So true. So true, Pancake. It is exactly what's happened. In adulthood, that, yes, it's flipped. It 100% has flipped. Absolutely. Get some more here. Listen. There we go. We are crushing it. At least I think so. Oh, I need to stretch it out. Maybe we have a little snack. Maybe we take a little snack break. That feels appropriate. Take a little trip. Take a little dip with me. There we go. All right, what's the next color we need? I think we need the N. We need the arrow. So, I think we put away our H plus V. Actually, no, keep this one. Get rid of our 3% one. We need our... Do we still need the X one? I think we're all right with that one for now. So you live here. This one we put away here. And then we're gonna get out the funky N sign and we have a couple of like these guys that need sorting out. But which one are you? Oh, I think some of them are in the thing, aren't they? Yes, they are. Okay. Okay. Some of them are in. I'm like, where are my beads? Or whatever. And then I realized, yes, they're in this thingy here. I wonder. Okay, so we need this. So I'll dump this guy out. These are also two very similar colors in the light. So I have to look at them a bit more difficultly. Okay, so this thing here. Can I get away with it? It'll be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but I think I can just pull them straight from this little jar. I just have to remember what color is what. So the J's are here. So if I sort out all of the J's, and then the next one is this little arrow going that way. It's not like the perfect system because obviously it's harder to pick up. But I don't know, it's like sticky enough that I think if I can kind of do it gently, it seems to be working out, so if we don't have to use a tray, we won't. We don't have to use a tray. There we go. There's a large section of J's here, but I don't think I'll do all of them. We'll still kind of keep in the line of where we're working towards. Let's annoying. I think one of these was a 7 that I neglected to put away, or I already put away. It's fine. We'll go back over that. What are these ones? P and 1. Okay, perfect. So we also need those. So I can do all of these 1s here. And then the P. I feel like, again, it's like a Where's Waldo situation. I feel like every time I look away, I'm like, oh, I missed that one. Oh, I missed that one. It's not the hugest issue. I think it's just like when I am transferring them to the different plates, I'm like, damn, I already put this one away. But it's fine. Ooh. Jeez, I feel like I almost knocked all of the beads out. I guess they're not beads, they're diamonds. They remind me of beads, though. Okay, any more? There's more P here. I love it. I feel like I went from being so hyped that I couldn't focus on working on this, and now I'm like so in the zone that I'm like, I don't have anything to say. I'm just like, boom. But I think it's good. I'm achieving diamond painting flow state, I guess. Every time I look away, I find more. It's probably good. It's probably a good thing that, like, you know, you take a break or you, like, look up and then it's like, oh, you're now seeing things you've not, like, you weren't seeing before. I think because with this, the image is already stamped on the page versus, like, with cross stitch, you add the color on, like, a totally blank space. Unless you're doing, I think there are a type of cross stitch out there where they do print the pattern on the cloth, but most of, like, any of the cross stitching I've ever done has been counted cross stitch, so that's where, like, you have a blank canvas and then the pattern slowly emerges. So I find you're, like, less likely to kind of go cross-eyed or get confused because it's basically going from nothingness to color, whereas this, it already has the full pattern on it, so it's like scanning over it. I think it can already sometimes look like it's already been filled. And then you kind of look over and you're like, oh shit, I forgot this one, or oh man, I forgot this one. Whereas if it was completely blank and we were sort of like unearthing the pattern with only the beads, I think it would be a lot easier to sort of see what was going on. Yeah. Oh, amazing. I'm glad you're getting progress done. I love it. I love a good co-create, co-working session. Okay, what are these? So we need all of our J's. Ooh, geez, almost knocked those over. Gonna push you guys out of the way of my elbow. That seems smart. Okay, I'll do up to this J. To here. And then we'll work our way down. It's one of those, though. I do have this kind of feeling I'm distracted from work. Oh, amazing. Ooh, what kind of shoes are you looking for? That's always a fun time to just like go down a rabbit hole of like, ooh, what about this? Ooh, what about that? I feel like it doesn't help that we have this like jazzy elevator music playing in the background. Like that's just kind of like, I don't know, it's vibes. It's mindless vibes. No thoughts, only vibes. That's what we aspire to right now. It's a Friday. I feel like that's sort of everybody's mindset right now. No thoughts, just vibes. Looking for demonias, so they sent an email. Ooh. I love that. You're like, this is what I have the coupon for, but what about this thing that also sounds great? To be fair, that happens to me too sometimes where you're like, okay, I have this specific thing in mind that I'm searching for, but then this store offers all of these things. So like, what if I also looked for this? All right, I think, oh, no, we're gonna stop there for the J's. Okay, now we need to do this arrow here, which is, there's gonna be quite a few of them in this particular concentration. I don't need to use shoes. Yeah, right? Yeah. You're like, I do not need, but I want. And that's how they do it. That's how they sucker you into it. Because I always see that too, where especially when like you order and then they're like, okay, I'll sign up for emails. And they'd be like, here's our new stuff. And I'm like, I literally just bought things for you, like from you. Or the thing that pisses me off is you buy something from their store. And I know it's a tactic, right? Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for stopping by, Pancake. I hope grocery shopping goes well. I appreciate you coming by and I hope you have an amazing weekend. But yeah, it's always so, and I get it's a selling tactic, right? But like, it's so annoying when you go to buy something and then it processes and then they send you an email to be like, well, if you buy, you know, your next order, you'll get 10% off or 20% off if you refer a friend within the next week. And you're like, if I already bought a pair of jeans from you, why do you suddenly think I need another pair of jeans from you within the next week? And I get why they do that, because they're trying to get, you know, conversion and turnaround and like get you addicted to shopping from them. But I'm like, you know what would have been helpful? Getting that discount beforehand. Because then I might have bought more, but now I'm like annoyed that I have to go back there and try to buy things again. So then I just don't. Yeah, especially when you buy two things. Yeah! Exactly! You think you're getting a deal, because then the thing too, right, is you're obviously buying two things because you want to get free shipping. And then you get free shipping, and then they're like, oh, by the way, you got 20% off on this thing. And you're like, but if I didn't get that then, I couldn't qualify for the free shipping. But if I did it a second time, I would pay shipping, but then the item would be cheaper. And then you're doing maths in your head that you're like, listen, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Yeah, right? Exactly. Too much math. Too much math. The best thing too, though, is like when you're shopping and then they go, oh, if you spend like $5 more, you qualify for free shipping. And you go, okay, cool. And then you look at how much shipping is and it's like $3. And you're like, it's cheaper for me to not qualify for free shipping, actually. But that's what they get you. They don't, you sit there being like, oh yeah, I can get free shipping. Let me buy more. And then you're like, wait a second. I only need one thing. And the shipping is more, the shipping cost is cheaper than the amount I would need to spend to get free shipping. I might as well just pay the £3 for the shipping and not worry about it. Alright, how are we doing? Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I feel like we're on track to get like a third done today. Which is awesome. I guess by that logic, theoretically, we can get this finished, because I've also been working on it off stream. We could potentially get this done in 3 weeks. But like I said, next week, I'm away at a wedding in Greece, and the wedding's on Friday, so we have to leave Thursday. So unfortunately, next week there's only going to be one stream on the Tuesday. But we will work our damnedest to get as much done as we can on that day. And then hopefully also by Tuesday, I will have found out if I've gotten the job that I interviewed for or not. They said they'd let me know either Friday or early next week. And obviously it's like the end of the day, end of the work day today. So I don't think I'm hearing today. But hopefully I'll hear next week. But I also have an appointment there on the Monday. So I think it would be really cool of them to tell me on the Monday. But if not, I can then ask them like, oi, what's going on? I won't actually do that. I'll probably just like sit around and wait for them to contact me and not take the initiative. But yeah, hopefully. Again, it's one of those though where, because even still, I think even if I get the job, I don't think it's one of those kinds of things where I'm going to be like working right away. But it's just nice to know like a definitive yes or no answer, you know what I mean? Because I would like to think too that because I am somebody who attends the clinic, like they will tell me either yes or no. Because I do know that obviously some places of employment, if you don't get the job, they just don't tell you anything, you know what I mean? You either get told yes you have the job or you don't hear anything, you know what I mean? Whereas I would think like because I attend the clinic, they would be like, by the way, this. Or I guess, you know, if I'm still attending the clinic like, you know, a few weeks later and not heard anything, I guess the assumption is like obviously I didn't get it. But I feel like they would confirm or deny either way, but who knows? Oops. So I keep smacking my bun on the camera. Luckily, it doesn't look like I'm showing my head in the camera, so it's okay. I just like... Oh no, it's because I'm not smacking the camera. I'm smacking the arm, which is a bit further forward. That's okay then. Listen here, you little diamond. There we go. I think I was gonna put this somewhere else, but that's fine. You can go here. Okay, any more of that one? I don't think so. So what are we left with here? Oh, we do have another J hiding there. So let's sort that one out. Any other in this little tub that I need? There's a couple ones here. I think these are a bit higher up. When I was on the drill team in high school, we used to call people and tell them whether or not they made the team. And then when they made the team, we would start off being like, you worked really hard in a sad tone, and switch it up to be like, oh, no way. Yeah, I could see that happening, definitely. That's so funny. Yeah, build the suspense. I see it, I see it. Okay, no, that actually is lower down. So we're gonna leave that one. So what do we have? Yeah, it sounds it. I love that. You get to like flex your acting chops as well as introduce people to whether or not they got the thing. All right, what is next? We need this guy here, right? Yes. Oh, this is similar to like when you're cross stitching and you're filling something in and you only have one color left and you can just like not have to worry about counting. You just like boop, 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 boop. That's what some of this is right now. It's very satisfying. I don't feel like, I don't know. I'm like, have I been hunched over this whole time? I don't know if I've been tense. I don't know. My shoulders are sore though. We'll see. Let's just do a little bit of stretching. I feel like we need it. Then when we initiate them, we'd have an all-nighter together. Oh, really? Wow. That's amazing. I don't know if I think I might have talked about this before, but the engineering department at my university had like a hazing ritual where all of the first years got dyed like a blue purple. So there would be like outside, like around all of the facilities. I don't know if you call it a quad. It wasn't really. They had this like tub that they filled up with like blue dye. And then all of the engineering freshmen were required to like get in this tub and get dyed a like a bluish purple color. And you could always tell which people were engineering students, even like after this initiation, because you could sort of still see like purple remnants around their ears usually. Like they'd get home and like scrub off, obviously. But then some of them would still, like, they would have missed a spot, like, on their ear. So you could see them the next couple of days, like, that's an engineering student. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to do that, absolutely. I think my brother went to Guelph. And his engineering initiation was, I think, like, they got their head shaved or something like that. And my brother was so excited. Like, he wanted to have, like, a wacky hairdo. And I think at the end, they didn't even end up, like, doing anything that crazy to him. And he was, like, kind of disappointed. He was like, damn, I really wanted, like, something a lot wilder than what was given to me. This is also a 2, so that's good. We can fill in some of these guys. Dang, we are just blowing through this. We have a system. I feel like it still feels like it's very chaotic, but you know, it's a little bit of, you know, organized chaos, which is how we like it, you know? I feel like it started out chaos, and now it is become organized chaos. We got there in the end. It took a minute, but I'd say we have arrived at the ideal chaotic ratio. This is giving like cook serve delicious loading screen music. I'm not mad about it, but it's just funny to me. I'm like, it's like elevator loading screen music. But that's okay. Again, no thoughts, just vibes. Where are we at time-wise? Okay, cool. We have about like 20 minutes left in the stream today. It's not bad, not bad. It's weird because I feel like a lot of times cross-stitching, it feels like time is going by so quickly. I don't find time goes by as quickly while I'm doing this, but I also feel like I am getting more done in the amount of time. So it's interesting. More twos. Okay, how are we doing? What's sort of left here? I have the N's and the threes. I think we can put this guy away for now. And then you were part of this one. Where did you live? You were living over here. This guy we still need. I think we need this guy. And then, oh yeah, and then this guy. Cool. So I believe the sort of N looking guy is the little kind of greeny one. And then yeah, the yellow is like the actual bright color. All right, so you live here. And then you can live here. And then I think that's good because I think there's both of these colors we really need to use in this section. Whereas this guy, I don't think we really have any of the L, but we do, oops. Just bash that in there. Okay, next is all of our funny looking ends, I believe. I had this flash that I accidentally stuck the wrong thing down. Nope, we're still good. Still hasn't happened yet. Oh, almost missed one. There we go. That little section there. Oops. Shadow. I know we missed that 7 earlier, but that's okay. We can go back. Okay, got these ends over here. We gotta get these ends here. And there aren't any over there. Perfect. So now these guys, these lighter ones here are these ones. And then there's these sort of corner guys, which are those guys here. So yeah, I think there's like an even, not an even number, but we're equally utilizing the colors, both of the colors that are in this pot. Because I've found that as we've been moving forward, the ones that I've sort of paired this with, just to be able to not mix them up, when I need to use one color of the diamonds, I'm not really using the other one, which is fine. But then at least this way I don't have to switch back and forth as much because I'm utilizing two of the colors within the same like palette that I've designed unintentionally. Okay, where are we in terms of here? Because I don't want to move too far. I want to end on like a fully filled in section. I don't want to get too crazy like moving up farther than I'd initially planned to. Just to try to keep things as cohesive as possible. There's some of these like just rogue one-offs that I'm like, don't want to miss you. A few here, because I'm not entirely sure. I obviously know that you're supposed to kind of work from one side to the other because you don't want the tackiness of the background to dissipate. So I don't know, like for instance, I'm under the impression like if I dotted, like if I placed all of these and then like didn't have one, eventually that one section will sort of not be sticky anymore. I think too much air would get to it because I would assume that like as you add more of the diamonds, this then can't kind of reseal back down on the wax. So I'm really concerned about like if I miss one of these that then like nothing will stick to it. I'm not sure if that is true or if it's all in my brain, but I would like to not find out. Oh, there's another rogue one of this color. Okay, and then we're also making sure that all of the triangle, this guy, is filled in. Yeah, right? I'm like, this is how I feel about it, but I don't want to go testing any of my theories, because if it's correct, then that will be not a good thing. Cool. Oh, there's more rogue of those ones. Doing all right on that respect again. Let's go back to filling in these guys. Oh, I missed an N. Good thing I've not put this away yet. Listen. That was the correct color, right? Yes, yes it was. Whew, okay. Whew. Starting to catch my hand on like the sticky. There's sort of like a tiny sticky perimeter around what's already been stuck. So we have the unsticky part of the image. Then we have like where the progress, like where all the dots are. And then there's like a little bit of an overlay of stickiness that I keep accidentally like attaching my hand to. Is that everyone in the immediate vicinity looks that way? Now we have a couple 3s and a 7. I feel like we can probably just do that with this. Right. 7. And then I thought maybe there was, yeah, there's a couple of them here, but okay, if I can grab those, I will. Yeah, okay. Cool. So yeah, we have a few minutes left, so if anybody has any raid suggestions, let me know. If not, we'll go and see which of our wonderful friends is online. Try to get a little bit more of this done before we head on over to them. Okay, so that was the 7. The next is there's some 3s that we need to fill in. So I'll grab those. Where are they? There we go. They were hiding. I'm like, I literally just saw them. Okay, perfect. Next there's some T's and then this upward one. Have I used this one yet? I must have. But where? Unless I haven't. What was it? 26. No. Oh no. Ah, there it is over here. Whew. Yeah, right? You're like, I will do this, but I will do a much smaller version of it. I respect that. Okay, we're gonna put these away. Dump those in there. And then yeah, I wouldn't recommend starting with this. To be fair, my eyes are going a little bit square in the process, or maybe more circular. I don't know. My eyes are getting annoyed with staring at tiny circles, though. That's for sure. Oops. Okay, we'll just fill in these last few little guys here, and then we will raid out. We'll have to go and find someone. Do. Oh, see ya. Yeah. Oh, Shadow's gonna be pissed. Bestie's gotta go to an appointment. He's going to be not happy about it. Alright. Boom! I think we've made amazing progress. You can actually, it's getting to the point now where you can actually kind of see what it's looking like. You know what it is? It almost kind of looks like we're rendering like a pixelated version of the painting. Because you can see up here, it looks a lot more sort of fluid, and then you can actually kind of see the pixelations of this as we're moving forward. It's starting to look really cool. I'm looking forward to continuing it. Yeah, it's sort of like we've scanned Starry Night by Van Gogh, and now we're popping out like a pixelated 8-bit version of the painting, which is kind of cool. All right, let's see who's online. Ooh, and like I said, we will be back here on Tuesday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. doing all the things. Oh, Angelic Dreamer's online. Let's see what everybody is up to. Wait for everything to load. I know, Shadow. He will be back soon, though. I promise. I promise. Okay. It's just taking a while to load. Oh my goodness. Jeez, tired myself out doing all this. Ooh, yeah, Angelic Dreamers, making crafting. Artemis is playing Fae Farm. Art and Jess, Souls on. Fat Rabbits on. Pop Tart is on. Pottery Dojo is on. Let's go see Angelic Dreamer. We've not gone to see them in a while. Hopefully they've not been streaming for too long. Oh, they've already been streaming for almost 3 hours, so I don't know how long they normally stream. So hopefully they're not getting ready to like raid out or anything. If not, we might end up doing double raid, but that's fine. Here is their link in case anybody gets left behind in the raid. This is the raid message here. I'm gonna copy that, and then we will go and find Angelic Dreamer, and we'll go give them some love, and I will console the most forlorn baby boy in the whole wide world because his bestie has stepped out for all of 15 minutes. And yeah, we'll be back here on Tuesday. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will hopefully see you later. Bye!